Well, here we go. We're now down to the classic Raw from Los Angeles, November 29th. The infamous Test Stephanie wedding that ends up with Hunter marrying Stephanie instead. From the Observer, 11/29 Raw from L.A., DX came out. Triple H said there'd be no wedding. Vince came out and said he was going to give Test a wedding present, a match with Triple H on the show. Now, keep in mind, Test is marrying into a wealthy family with a billionaire as the father. You'd think he'd get him $1 million home or at least a tanning bed.
Nope, a match.
No, they did a show-long sketch where Stephanie was having her wedding party and they were getting her loaded. Somewhere in there, Mae Young and Moolah double-teamed a male stripper. There's a lesson out there for all of you budding male strippers. Take your steroids, pump your iron, and you too can dance for a bunch of pretty drunk women and end up in bed with Moolah.
What? Oh, from old, I guess, old Uncle Dan's like Savio Suave. You know what I mean?
He says, anyway, the guy bringing the champagne was in cahoots with Triple H, and little did we know, he must have put an H-bomb in the virtuous Stephanie's drink. Woo! There's a lot going on here.
Hey, those H-bombs will get you.
There's a lot going on here. Test beat Triple H in 8 minutes and 20 seconds. Vince wearing a Vince McMahon mask was the ref. He totally favored Triple H. Triple H had Test pinned, but Vince wouldn't count. So Triple H decked him. Shane came out, hit Triple H with a chair. Test came off the top, and Vince fast counted him. Triple H told police that Vince had violated his order where he couldn't come within 50 feet. The cops checked it out, going to Patterson and Briscoe, who claimed Vince was in the bathroom, and they could prove it by the cops smelling the bathroom. Vince was wearing gloves. So I guess there was no fingerprints in the ring. I know Vince Russo gets a lot of crap, but he's out of the company at this point. Who do we blame here for this?
Well, that's Dog? This is Vince. This is Vince McMahon.
Okay.
If it has to do with fecal matter and smelling or throwing up or yes, kiss my feet, like he knew Lawler had an aversion to like gagging and throwing up, and like Lawler's got a weak stomach. So he thought the funniest thing in the world was put him in a kiss my feet match with Bret Hart and make him kiss his feet and stuff like it. Yeah, this is totally Vince.
And then they'll smell the bathroom and they'll know I was in there.
They'll know it was me because my poop smells. They know it. Like, I don't know what he said. Incredible. Bless his heart.
X-Pac and Outlaws beat Rock and Foley and Kane via DQ in 420 when Snow interfered to save Foley. But it was just as Rock had Mr. Ass pinned. Rock was mad at Snow for costing him the match, so he gave him a people's elbow.
Should have given him a rock bottom first.
Do you think Al Snow belonged in all this? A lot of people look back at it now, but at the time, do you think he was the right guy? There's 6 of you in the ring. Al Snow's one of them.
Yeah. Look, I think he was definitely the right guy. He had the experience. He had been established. So I also mentioned earlier, like this was a formative time and creative for sure. Everybody's trying to find out how we're going to continue. And so we were moving people around. You see that people are being moved around. DX turned heel, rejoined and reformed and turned heel. Al Snow is in the mix here. And so different people are getting different opportunities here. And Al was getting one that I actually thought he deserved because he was pretty entertaining on television. Yeah. Al was very entertaining. And so I thought he belonged.
Then came the big wedding. The director of this TV show is the bomb. The way they shot the faces and shot this wedding, it was a little weird when they announced the groomsmen by their wrestling names, in particular, Edge and Christian walking down with women with real names. I mean, if the women were called Tori and Luna, it wouldn't be as silly. Then to make things sillier, Test came out to his entrance music, and he was announced not as Andrew Martin, but as Test. That silly family putting out all those wedding invitations should have listed him as Test, not Andrew. When they asked if anyone should speak now or forever hold their peace, Triple H came out, showed a video of Steph passed out from being spiked by the guy in the hotel. They drove to a quickie wedding chapel in Vegas, and somehow Triple H married Stephanie, and just before the show went off the air, Triple H mentioned that they had consummated the marriage many times that evening.
Why would he say that?
A couple things
Why
to
would he have
unpack,
to
as
say
Conrad likes to say. The whole angle, it's entertainment. I understand. A little bit uncomfortable looking back on it now, but was the
100%, as is the whole Attitude Era.
yeah. There's
Right?
a lot of things,
So continue.
as in history as well,
Yeah,
real life.
Yes.
Was the plan at this point for Stephanie to join DX? Do you remember that?
So look, I wasn't a part of those vignette, like they
Right.
went and shot that stuff. I wasn't a part of it. I really didn't even find out about it until that day. So I don't remember a whole lot about that storyline, but I knew that they were, this is how I felt at that time. I knew I was coasting and just skating a little bit, but I knew wherever DX was going to be in a good spot, because they turned us heel to be it for a reason. You know what I mean? So adding anyone to DX would have been a good idea. It's just, will they work with them will it work? You know what I mean? And to me, her being added to it was perfect, because you thought maybe you can get a DX Vince McMahon story now, and he married the daughter, and so look, I thought it was all good, and it was all good storytelling, and I kind of thought it was, I mentioned earlier, it got calmer or more conservative over the time period, but it feels like Vince was kind of going crazy a little bit with a lot of things, and some of them worked, and some of them we remember and we still talk about, and some of them we cringe when we talk about, but a lot of them were very successful moments in professional wrestling history,
Well, and unfortunately, I guess a look at society as a fan, we loved it back then. So
yeah,
I mean, it says
too.
We can look on it now and say y'all shouldn't have recorded that, you shouldn't have read that, but we liked it at the time.
Yeah.
And you get older and you go,
It was the market was calling for it.
Yeah.
At that period of time, and right, wrong, or indifferent. That's
Does
a
it?
fact.
Yeah. I was about to say, doesn't make it right, but that's what we wanted.
No, and it doesn't call for it now. It not only not calls for it, it denounces it, and rightfully so. And so that's where we're at now.